The first thing you noticed and you remember about that day is that it was gorgeous outside.
Just remembers how pretty the blue sky was.
My offices were in the World Trade Center at 2 World Trade 55th floor.
I was posted at World Trade Center 2 on the 30th floor.
I was home with my oldest child. Home is still, and was then, Battery Park City.
I was in a very good mood, happy, and then by the time I got to the exchange, the world had changed.
We heard a plane with and the engines accelerated, which was really weird. I'll never forget that because you don't usually hear planes' engines accelerate over Manhattan.
And all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I saw the big flash.
When I heard that noise, I kind of looked up, natural reaction, and you saw smoke coming out. Right away, I knew something wasn't right.
I smoked at the time, so I was walking outside to have a cigarette, and somebody came running in and said, "Don't go out there."
He says, "Oh, a plane just flew into the World Trade Center."
And when I looked down through the window, there was debris in the plaza.
Like a ticker tape parade, all the paper, like just tons of stuff in the air, smell of jet fuel.
Being a stoic New Yorker, well, what do you do now? Let me go get my coffee.
I don't think that really any of us at that moment felt that there was a terrorist attack of any kind.
I'll never forget hearing the second plane come in.
I was in the kitchen, took a hold of my 2.5-year-old daughter, crouched down and heard the roar of the engines, and then suddenly, once again, the impact.
At that moment, you knew this is no accident.
I realized then that New York City was under attack, and I grabbed all the people that work with me and then some, and we exited the building as soon as possible.
I basically kind of ran through every office and yelled and told everybody, "We have to leave, we have to leave. Do not listen to that announcement. We have to go." It was an eerie type of a feeling, a very strange situation that I never encountered.
It wasn't until we heard that the plane hit the Pentagon that really scared us. And then we said, oh my God, and then the reports were that we were under attack.
The triage center was set right away. Within I would say 45 minutes, where the triage center set up in 20 Broad Street, and that's where we rerouted our people.
If anyone was ill, if they were suffering shortness of breath, if they had been outside and were damaged, to come and report there, and they were to be taken care of.
This place is so well known for people coming together and, in time of need, and that's exactly what everybody did.
Luckily, our phones were still working. So I passed word around the floor that if anybody needed to call home and tell everybody they were safe or inquire about somebody, they could use our phones.
I actually got through to my wife, and then she had called everyone else.
I'm on the phone with my dad, and at that moment, I start to hear this twisted steel, like if you could imagine steel bending.
And when the lights were flickering and they went out and dust started coming under the door, that's when we said, let's get the hell out of here.
It shook the building, and debris piled up at the front door, and it was time to go.
We didn't know the tower was falling at that point. We just got scared because the sound was off the charts. You couldn't even imagine how loud it was. And the ground was shaking like this.
It's not a choreographed show from Hollywood. And when things happen like that, you don't know which way to turn and which way safety is.
We got out just in time.
Then that big rumbling sound again, which we know now was the second building coming down, and we dove into a loading dock to get out of the way and try to protect ourselves.
We held our ground, and then the second building fell. And now we were like, oh my God. We thought now we were going to be trapped in the building for the longest time.
I guess through a process of changing filters continuously, the air quality on the trading floor actually improved while outside was unbearable.
And it wasn't until about 1:30 or so that, Dick Grasso made an announcement on the speaker stating that they were going to open the gates up now.
There was still all kinds of debris floating around, falling around. We were instantly covered with that gray ash and soot.
You had stood up to your knees, and it was silent. It was just deathly silent. There was nobody on the streets.
And I said, my God, I can't even imagine, what were we in? What the hell has just happened to us?
You turn around and you look back, it was one of the clearest, prettiest days of the year. And to look back and not see the Twin Towers is something that, in commuting every day for 25 years, you'd see that silhouette, and it just was erased.
Now what? Is the exchange going to open? We lost our entire office. Can we, when the exchange decides to open, can we function?
There was great pressure to try and get the exchange back open, to get the economic lifeblood flowing.
The leadership team here at the exchange had coordinated with all the member firms, had a plan to reopen the exchange.
We came back to open the market because the president had requested it reopen and the mayors had requested, and they realized that the country needed some sign that there was a bit of normalcy somewhere.
The New York was gracious enough to let us start trading on the NYSE, and so colleagues of mine came over here.
So we built a place for over 200 people in Taylor Broad Street within a matter of days.
And then once we brought people back, the logistics of how do you feed these people? How do you get them into the downtown Manhattan?
We came off the boats, they handed us American flags, and downtown was deserted.
I just remember coming up that day and the smoke and the smell.
That acrid smell that permeated all of Lower Manhattan was something that I'll never forget.
And that smell stayed for a long, long time.
Everybody looked so pained. And I thought, I'm going to try to smile. So I tried to at least, get my eyes up a little bit, have a little bit of a smile on my face so that if somebody saw me, maybe, it would help perk them up too. It just seems so sad to see everybody so down and out.
The only smiles tended to be on the photos of the missing persons posters that the families had put up. And that was about the only smile you could find downtown for the next several days.
Seeing the impact of all the security, all the police, that was a big impact, because here is a place that for so many years we've been able to walk around freely.
By the time we got around to coming back to work, I was angry. I was really angry. And there was nothing I would not have done to get to work and get those markets open and sort of prove that, you can't get us down.
The stock exchange is one of the most patriotic areas in the entire United States. And when the firemen came in, there was a thundering round of applause for them and a thank you.
The New York City Fire Department personnel who were helping at the Ground Zero site actually came onto the trading floor, and also some policemen. And everybody clapped, and it was really a proud moment.
When that bell rang, all eyes were on the podium because there were first responders up there who were helping to ring the bell, and they were the right people to be there.
That trading floor was in uproar. I mean, heard around the world that you're not shutting us down, no matter what you do.
We were pumped up. We felt good about being able to at least do our part in the comeback. Clearly, we had to bring the country back and the city back, and that was our piece to get involved, I think.
For us to have to come back down here every single day was tough. You see it on the news, but when you have to get out of that subway station and see it.
Some of us tried to initially walk around with masks, but you can't go into a trading crowd and trade with a mask. People can't hear you.
Within all the tragedy, to see how a country like this unites, in time of need is unbelievable.
Although trading was disruptive for a couple of days, but you know what? We got it all back. And we're here, and we're going to do what we have to do to keep this place going, open, and, can't take that away from us.
I think more than anything, we wanted to show the world that they inflicted pain, but they didn't take us out.
It's amazing to me that it's been 10 years.
It's the rest of the world starting to recognize it's been a decade since it's happened, and it's not something that I forget on a daily basis.
I walk by the towers every day.
When I think about it or when I talk about it, it hurts just as badly 10 years later as it did that day, I think. I don't think I have been able to really reconcile what's happened.
Every year as it nears the anniversary, I go through. I lost a lot of friends.
This was history that not only, you know, was written that day, like I lived through it.
People talk constantly about remembering exactly where they were and what they were doing when Kennedy was shot. I mean, no one will ever forget. Certainly no one in the New York area will ever forget.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable thinking about this all the time and this and that, so you make it comfortable for yourself.
I would like the remembrances to go away, because to me it just dredges up not good things. But I suppose there is a value in them because it causes people to remember and to hopefully look and do the right thing in their life on a daily basis.
It just brought into clarity how important it is to really be with the people that you love.
You know, there is no real rhyme or reason for when it's your time and when it's not, is there? I mean, so I think that's another thing. There is an appreciation for every single day that you have.
Thank God I'm alive. Thank God I didn't lose anybody that was, you know, a loved one close to me, like many other of my friends did.
You say goodbye to your loved ones and stuff. You always make sure that you're saying goodbye, I love you, and make sure that you take that time.
When I leave in the morning, my kids are sleeping. I make sure I say goodbye. I kiss my husband goodbye.
The bottom line is that we all have to care for one another in any type of situation.
Part of the strength of Americans or any people is that, you know, you can get up in the morning and face the long odds and get out there and do what you have to do.
You have to find a message and take some good out of it. And I think it has given us all the appreciation of ourselves, our family, our friends, and our country.
And never ever pass up an opportunity to kiss someone you love, because when you pass those up, they never come back. And that's a lesson from 9/11.